Hadīth 1. Narrated Al-Walid bin Izar, I heard Abi Amr ash-Shaybani saying, the owner of this house, he pointed to Abdullāh's house, said, I asked the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, which deed is loved most by Allah? He replied, to offer prayers at their early, very first, stated times. Abdullāh asked, what is the next, in goodness? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, to be good and dutiful to one's parents. Abdullāh asked, what is the next, in goodness? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, to participate in Jihad for Allah's cause. Abdullāh added, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, narrated to me these three things, and if I had asked more, he would have told me more. Hadīth 2. Narrated Abu Hurairah, a man came to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Who is more entitled to be treated with the best companionship by me? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, your mother. The man said, who is next? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, your mother. The man further said, who is next? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, your mother. The man asked for the fourth time, who is next? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, your father. Hadīth 3. Narrated Abdullāh bin Amr, a man said to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, shall I participate in Jihad? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, are your parents living? The man said, yes. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, do Jihad for their benefit. Hadīth 4. Narrated Abdullāh bin Amr, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, it is one of the greatest sins that a man should curse his parents. It was asked, by the people, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. How does a man curse his parents? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the man abuses the father of another man and the latter abuses the father of the former and abuses his mother. Hadīth 5. Narrated Ibn Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, while three persons were traveling, they were overtaken by rain and they took shelter in a cave in a mountain. A big rock fell from the mountain over the mouth of the cave and blocked it. They said to each other, think of such good, righteous, deeds which you did for Allah's sake only, and invoke Allah by giving reference to those deeds so that Allah may relieve you from your difficulty. One of them said, O Allah! I had my parents who were very old and I had small children for whose sake I used to work as a shepherd. When I returned to them at night and milked the sheep, I used to start giving the milk to my parents first before giving to my children. And one day I went far away in search of a grazing place, for my sheep, and didn't return home till late at night and found that my parents had slept. I milked my livestock, as usual, and brought the milk vessel and stood at their heads, and I disliked to wake them up from their sleep, and I also disliked to give the milk to my children before my parents, though my children were crying, from hunger, at my feet. So this state of mine and theirs continued till the day dawned. O Allah! If you considered that I had done that only for seeking your pleasure, then please let there be an opening through which we can see the sky. So Allah made for them an opening through which they could see the sky. Then the second person said, O Allah! I had a she-cousin whom I loved as much as a passionate man loves a woman. I tried to seduce her but she refused till I paid her 100 dinars. So I worked hard till I collected 100 dinars and went to her with that. But when I sat in between her legs, to have sexual intercourse with her, she said, O Allah's slave! Be afraid of Allah. Do not deflower me except legally, by marriage contract. So I left her. O Allah! If you considered that I had done that only for seeking your pleasure, then please let the rock move a little to have a wider opening. So Allah shifted that rock to make the opening wider for them. And the last, third, person said, O Allah! I employed a laborer for wages equal to a farak, a certain measure, of rice, and when he had finished his job he demanded his wages, but when I presented his due to him, he gave it up and refused to take it. Then I kept on sowing that rice for him, several times, till I managed to buy with the price of the yield some cows and their shepherd. Later on, the laborer came to me and said, O Allah's slave! Be afraid of Allah, and do not be unjust to me and give me my due. I said, to him, Go and take those cows and their shepherd. So he took them and went away. So, O Allah! If you considered that I had done that for seeking your pleasure, then please remove the remaining part of the rock. And so Allah released them from their difficulty. Hadith 6. Narrated Al-Mughira, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Allah has forbidden you, 1. To be undutiful to your mothers, 2. To withhold what you should give, or 3. Demand what you do not deserve, and 4. To bury your daughters alive. And Allah has disliked that a. You talk too much about others, b. Ask too many questions, in religion, or c. Waste your property. Hadith 7. Narrated Abu Bakr, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said thrice, Shall I not inform you of the biggest of the great sins? We said, Yes, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. He said, To join partners in worship with Allah, to be undutiful to one's parents. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, sat up after he had been reclining and added, And I warn you against giving forged statement and a false witness, I warn you against giving a forged statement and a false witness. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, kept on saying that warning till we thought that he would not stop. Hadith 8. Narrated Anas bin Malik, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, mentioned the greatest sins or he was asked about the greatest sins. He said, To join partners in worship with Allah, to kill a soul which Allah has forbidden to kill, and to be undutiful or unkind to one's parents. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, added, Shall I inform you of the biggest of the great sins? That is the forged statement or the false witness. Shu'abah, the sub-narrator, states that most probably the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the false witness. Hadith 9. Narrated Asma bint Abu Bakr, My mother came to me, hoping, for my favor, during the lifetime of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. I asked the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, May I treat her kindly? He replied, Yes. Ibn Uyaynah said, Then Allah revealed, Allah forbids you not with regards to those who fought not against you because of religion, and drove you not out from your homes, that you should show them kindness and deal justly with them. Surah 60, Ayah 8. Hadith 10. Narrated Asma, my mother who was a mushrikah, pagan, etc., came with her father during the period of peace pact between the Muslims and the Quraysh infidels. I went to seek the advice of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, My mother has arrived and she is hoping, for my favor. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Yes, be good to your mother. Hadith 11. Narrated Abu Sufyan, that Heraclius sent for him and said, What did he, that is, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, order you? I replied, He orders us to offer prayers, to give alms, to be chaste, and to keep good relations with our relatives. Hadith 12. Narrated Ibn Umar, my father, seeing a silken cloak being sold, said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Buy this and wear it on Fridays and when the foreign delegates pay a visit to you. He said, This is worn only by that person who will have no share in the hereafter. Later, a few silken cloaks were given to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, as a gift, and he sent one of those cloaks to Umar. Umar said, to the Prophet, How can I wear it while you have said about it what you said? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I did not give it to you to wear but to sell or to give to someone else to wear. So Umar sent it to his pagan brother who was from the inhabitants of Makkah before he, Umar's brother, embraced Islam. Hadith 13. Narrated Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, it was said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Inform me of a deed which will make me enter paradise. Continues through a different chain in the next hadith. Hadith 14. Narrated Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, a man said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Inform me of a deed which will make me enter paradise. The people said, What is the matter with him? What is the matter with him? Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, He has something to ask, what he needs greatly. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to him, In order to enter paradise, you should worship Allah and join none in worship with him. You should offer prayers perfectly, give obligatory charity, zakat, and keep good relations with your kith and kin. He then said, Leave it. The sub-narrator said, It seems that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was riding his she-camel. Hadith 15. Narrated Jubayr bin Mut'im, that he heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, The person who severs the bond of kinship will not enter paradise. Hadith 16. Narrated Abu Hurairah, I heard Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, Whoever is pleased that he be granted more wealth and that his lease of life be prolonged, then he should keep good relations with his kith and kin. Hadith 17. Narrated Anas bin Malik, Allah's Apostle said, Whoever loves that he be granted more wealth and that his lease of life be prolonged, then he should keep good relations with his kith and kin. Hadith 18. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Allah created the creations, and when he finished from his creations, Ar-Rahm, that is, womb, said, O Allah, at this place I seek refuge with you from all those who sever me, that is, sever the ties of kith and kin. Allah said, Yes, won't you be pleased that I will keep good relations with the one who will keep good relations with you, and I will sever the relation with the one who will sever the relations with you. It said, Yes, O my Lord. Allah said, Then that is for you. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, added, Read, in the Quran, if you wish, the statement of Allah, would you then, if you were given the authority, do mischief in the land and sever your ties of kinship? Surah 47, Ayah 22. Hadith 19. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, The word Ar-Rahm, womb, derives its name from Ar-Rahman, that is, one of the names of Allah, and Allah said, I will keep good relation with the one who will keep good relation with you, womb, that is, kith and kin, and sever the relation with him who will sever the relation with you, womb, that is, kith and kin. Hadith 20. Narrated Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, The word Ar-Rahm, womb, derives its name from Ar-Rahman, that is, Allah. So whosoever keeps good relations with it, womb, that is, kith and kin, Allah will keep good relations with him, and whosoever will sever it, that is, severs his bonds of kith and kin, Allah too will sever his relations with him. Hadith 21. Narrated Amr bin al-As, I heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying openly not secretly, the family of Abu so-and-so, that is, Talib, are not among my protectors. Amr said that there was a blank space in the book of Muhammad bin Ja'far. He added, My protector is Allah and the righteous believing people. Amr bin al-As added, I heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, But they, that family, have kinship, Rahm, with me and I will be good and dutiful to them. Hadith 22. Narrated Abdullāh bin Amr, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Al-Wasil is not the one who recompenses the good done to him by his relatives, but Al-Wasil is the one who keeps good relations with those relatives who had severed the bond of kinship with him. Hadith 23. Narrated Hakim bin Hizam, that he said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. What do you think about my good deeds which I used to do during the period of ignorance, before embracing Islam, like keeping good relations with my kith and kin, manumitting of slaves and giving alms etc.? Shall I receive the reward for that? Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, You have embraced Islam with all those good deeds which you did. Hadith 24. Narrated Sa'id, Khalid bin Sa'id said, I came to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, along with my father, and I was wearing a yellow shirt. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Sunnah, Sunnah. Abdullāh, the sub-narrator said, it means, nice, nice, in the Ethiopian language. Khalid added, then I started playing with the seal of prophethood. My father admonished me. But Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, to my father, leave her. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, then addressing me, said, May you live so long that your dress gets worn out, and you will mend it many times, and then wear another till it gets worn out, that is, may Allah prolong your life. The sub-narrator, Abdullāh said, that garment, which she was wearing, remained usable for a long period. Hadith 25. Narrated Ibn Abi Nu'aym, I was present when a man asked Ibn Umar about the blood of mosquitoes. Ibn Umar said, From where are you? The man replied, From Iraq. Ibn Umar said, Look at that. He is asking me about the blood of mosquitoes while they, the Iraqis, have killed the grand son of the Prophet. I have heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, They, Hassan and Hussein, are my two sweet-smelling flowers in this world. Hadith 26. Narrated Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, a lady along with her two daughters came to me asking me for some alms, but she found nothing with me except one date which I gave to her, and she divided it between her two daughters, and then she got up and went away. Then the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, came in and I informed him about this story. He said, Whoever is in charge of, put to test by, these daughters and treats them generously, then they will act as a shield for him from the hell fire. Hadith 27. Narrated Abu Qatada, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, came out towards us, while carrying Umama, the daughter of Abi al-As, his granddaughter, over his shoulder. He prayed, and when he wanted to bow, he put her down, and when he stood up, he lifted her up. Hadith 28. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, kissed Al-Hasan bin Ali while Al-Aqra bin Habis at-Tamimi was sitting beside him. Al-Aqra said, I have 10 children and I have never kissed any one of them. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, cast a look at him and said, Whoever is not merciful to others will not be treated mercifully. Hadith 29. Narrated Aisha, a Bedouin came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, You, people, kiss the boys. We don't kiss them. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I cannot put mercy in your heart after Allah has taken it away from it. Hadith 30. Narrated Umar bin al-Khattab, some Sabi, that is, war prisoners, children and women only, were brought before the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and behold, a woman amongst them was milking her breasts to feed, and whenever she found a child amongst the captives, she took it over her chest and nursed it. She had lost her child, but later she found him. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to us, Do you think that this lady can throw her son in the fire? We replied, No, if she has the power not to throw it in the fire. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, then said, Allah is more merciful to his slaves than this lady to her son. Hadith 31. Narrated Abu Hurairah, I heard Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, Allah divided mercy into 100 parts. He kept 99 parts with him and sent down one part to the earth, and because of that, it's one single part. His creations are merciful to each other, so that even the mare lifts up its hoofs away from its baby animal, lest it should trample on it. Hadith 32. Narrated Abdullāh, I said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Which sin is the greatest? He said, to set up a rival unto Allah, though He alone created you. I said, what next? He said, to kill your son lest he should share your food with you. I further asked, what next? He said, to commit illegal sexual intercourse with the wife of your neighbor. And then Allah revealed as proof of the statement of the Prophet, those who invoke not with Allah any other God. To end of verse, Surah 25, Ayah 68. Hadith 33. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, took a child in his lap for tahniq, that is, he chewed a date in his mouth and put its juice in the mouth of the child. The child urinated on him, so he asked for water and poured it over the place of the urine. Hadith 34. Narrated Usama bin Zayd, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, used to put me on one of his thighs and put Al-Hasan bin Ali on his other thigh, and then embrace us and say, O Allah, please be merciful to them, as I am merciful to them. Hadith 35. Narrated Aisha, I never felt so jealous of any woman as I did of Khadijah, though she had died 3 years before the Prophet married me, and that was because I heard him mentioning her too often, and because his Lord had ordered him to give her the glad tidings that she would have a palace in paradise, made of kasab, and because he used to slaughter a sheep and distribute its meat among her friends. Hadith 36. Narrated Sahal bin Sa'd, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I and the person who looks after an orphan and provides for him will be in paradise like this, putting his index and middle fingers together. Hadith 37. Narrated Safwan bin Salim, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the one who looks after and works for a widow and for a poor person, is like a warrior fighting for Allah's cause or like a person who fasts during the day and prays all the night. Narrated Abu Hurairah that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said as above. Hadith 38. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the one who looks after and works for a widow and for a poor person is like a warrior fighting for Allah's cause. The narrator Al-Qanabi is not sure whether he also said, like the one who prays all the night without slackness and fasts continuously and never breaks his fast. Hadith 39. Narrated Abu Sulaiman and Malik bin Huwayrith, we came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and we were, a few, young men of approximately equal age and stayed with him for 20 nights. Then he thought that we were anxious for our families, and he asked us whom we had left behind to look after our families, and we told him. He was kind-hearted and merciful, so he said, return to your families and teach them religious knowledge, and order them to do good deeds, and offer your prayers in the way you saw me offering my prayers, and when the stated time for the prayer becomes due, then one of you should pronounce its call, that is, the adhan, and the eldest of you should lead you in prayer. Hadith 40. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, while a man was walking on a road, he became very thirsty. Then he came across a well, got down into it, drank of its water, and then came out. Meanwhile he saw a dog panting and licking mud because of excessive thirst. The man said to himself, this dog is suffering from the same state of thirst as I did. So he went down the well, again, and filled his shoe with water, and held it in his mouth and watered the dog. Allah thanked him for that deed and forgave him. The people asked, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, is there a reward for us in serving the animals? He said, yes, there is a reward for serving any animate, living being. Hadith 41. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, stood up for the prayer and we too stood up along with him. Then a Bedouin shouted while offering prayer, O Allah! Bestow your mercy on me and Muhammad only, and do not bestow it on anybody else along with us. When the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, had finished his prayer with taslim, he said to the Bedouin, You have limited, narrowed, a very vast thing, meaning Allah's mercy. Hadith 42. Narrated An-Nu'man bin Bashir, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, You see the believers as regards their being merciful among themselves and showing love among themselves and being kind, resembling one body, so that if any part of the body is not well then the whole body shares the sleeplessness, insomnia, and fever with it. Hadith 43. Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, If any Muslim plants any plant and a human being or an animal eats of it, he will be rewarded as if he had given that much in charity. Hadith 44. Narrated Jarir bin Abdullāh, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, He who is not merciful to others, will not be treated mercifully. Hadith 45. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Gabriel continued to recommend me about treating the neighbors kindly and politely, so much so that I thought he would order me to make them as my heirs. Hadith 46. Narrated Ibn Umar, Allah's Apostle said, Gabriel kept on recommending me about treating the neighbors in a kind and polite manner, so much so that I thought that he would order me to make them my heirs. Hadith 47. Narrated Abu Shuraih, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, By Allah, he does not believe. By Allah, he does not believe. By Allah, he does not believe. It was said, Who is that, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him? He said, That person whose neighbor does not feel safe from his evil. Hadith 48. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, used to say, O Muslim ladies! A neighboress should not look down upon the present of her neighboress, even if it were the hooves of a sheep. Hadith 49. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should not harm his neighbor, and anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should entertain his guest generously, and anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should talk what is good or keep quiet, that is, abstain from all kinds of evil and dirty talk. Hadith 50. Narrated Abu Shuraih al-Adawi, My ears heard and my eyes saw the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, when he spoke, Anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should serve his neighbor generously, and anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should serve his guest generously by giving him his reward. It was asked, What is his reward, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him? He said, To be entertained generously, for a day and a night with high quality of food, and the guest has the right to be entertained for 3 days, with ordinary food, and if he stays longer, what he will be provided with will be regarded as sadaqah, a charitable gift. And anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should talk what is good or keep quiet, that is, abstain from all kinds of dirty and evil talks. Hadith 51. Narrated Aisha, I said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. I have 2 neighbors. To whom shall I send my gifts? He said, To the one whose gate is nearer to you. Hadith 52. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullāh, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Enjoining all that is good is a sadaqah. Hadith 53. Narrated Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, On every Muslim there is enjoined, a compulsory, sadaqah, alms. They, the people, said, If one has nothing? He said, He should work with his hands so that he may benefit himself and give in charity. They said, If he cannot work or does not work? He said, then he should help the oppressed unhappy person, by word or action or both. They said, if he does not do it? He said, then he should enjoin what is good, or said what is reasonable. They said, if he does not do that? He said, then he should refrain from doing evil, for that will be considered for him as a sadaqah, charity. Hadīth 54. Narrated Adi bin Hatim, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, mentioned the hell, fire and sought refuge, with Allah, from it, and turned his face to the other side. He mentioned the hell, fire again and took refuge, with Allah, from it and turned his face to the other side. Shu'bah, the sub-narrator, said, I have no doubt that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, repeated it twice. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, then said, O people! Save yourselves from the hell, fire even if with 1/2 of a date fruit, given in charity, and if this is not available, then, save yourselves, by saying a good pleasant friendly word. Hadīth 55. Narrated Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, a group of Jews entered upon the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, Assalamu alaikum, that is, death be upon you. I understood it and said, Wa alaikum as-samu wal-lan, death and the curse of Allah be upon you. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Be calm, O Aisha. Allah loves that one should be kind and lenient in all matters. I said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Haven't you heard what they, the Jews, have said? Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I have, already, said, to them, and upon you. Hadīth 56. Narrated Anas bin Malik, a Bedouin urinated in the mosque and the people ran to beat him. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Do not interrupt his urination, that is, let him finish. Then the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, asked for a tumbler of water and poured the water over the place of urine. Hadīth 57. Narrated Abu Musa, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, A believer to another believer is like a building whose different parts enforce each other. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, then clasped his hands with the fingers interlaced. At that time, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was sitting and a man came and begged or asked for something. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, faced us and said, Help and recommend him and you will receive the reward for it, and Allah will bring about what he wills through his Prophet's tongue. Hadīth 58. Narrated Abu Musa, whenever a beggar or a person in need came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, would say, Help and recommend him and you will receive the reward for it, and Allah will bring about what he wills through his Prophet's tongue. Hadīth 59. Narrated Masruq, Abdullāh bin Amr mentioned Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, saying that he was neither a fahish nor a mutafahish. Abdullāh bin Amr added, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, The best among you are those who have the best manners and character. Hadīth 60. Narrated Abdullāh bin Abi Mulaika, Aisha said that the Jews came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, Assalamu alaikum, death be on you. Aisha said, to them, Death, be on you, and may Allah curse you and shower his wrath upon you. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Be calm, O Aisha. You should be kind and lenient, and beware of harshness and fuhsh, that is, bad words. She said, to the Prophet, Haven't you heard what they, Jews, have said? He said, Haven't you heard what I have said, to them? I said the same to them, and my invocation against them will be accepted while theirs against me will be rejected, by Allah. Hadīth 61. Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was not one who would abuse others, or say obscene words, or curse others, and if he wanted to admonish any one of us, he used to say, What is wrong with him, his forehead be dusted. Hadīth 62. Narrated Aisha, a man asked permission to enter upon the Prophet. When the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saw him, he said, "What an evil brother of his tribe! And what an evil son of his tribe!" When that man sat down, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, behaved with him in a nice and polite manner and was completely at ease with him. When that person had left, Aisha said, to the Prophet, "O Allah's Apostle! When you saw that man, you said so and so about him, then you showed him a kind and polite behavior, and you enjoyed his company?" Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "O Aisha! Have you ever seen me speaking a bad and dirty language? Remember that, the worst people in Allah's sight on the day of resurrection will be those whom the people leave, undisturbed, to be away from their evil deeds." Hadīth 63. Narrated Anas, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was the best among the people, both in shape and character, and was the most generous of them, and was the bravest of them. Once, during the night, the people of Medina got afraid of a sound. So the people went towards that sound, but the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, having gone to that sound before them, met them while he was saying, "Don't be afraid, don't be afraid." At that time, he was riding a horse belonging to Abu Talha and it was naked without a saddle, and he was carrying a sword slung at his neck. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "I found it, the horse, like a sea, or, it is the sea indeed." Hadīth 64. Narrated Jabir, never was the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, asked for a thing to be given for which his answer was, no. Hadīth 65. Narrated Masruq, we were sitting with Abdullāh bin Amr who was narrating to us. He said, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, was neither a fahish nor a mutafahish, and he used to say, "The best among you are the best in character, having good manners." Hadīth 66. Narrated Abu Hazim, Sahal bin Sa'd said that a woman brought a burda, sheet, to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. Sahal asked the people, "Do you know what is a burda?" The people replied, "It is a shamla, a sheet with a fringe." That woman said, "O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. I have brought it so that you may wear it." So the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, took it because he was in need of it and wore it. A man among his companions, seeing him wearing it, said, "O Allah's Apostle! Please give it to me to wear." The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Yes," and gave him that sheet. When the Prophet left, the man was blamed by his companions who said, "It was not nice on your part to ask the Prophet for it, while you know that he took it because he was in need of it, and you also know that he, the Prophet, never turns down anybody's request that he might be asked for." That man said, "I just wanted to have its blessings as the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, had put it on, so I hoped that I might be shrouded in it." Hadīth 67. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Time will pass rapidly, good deeds will decrease, and miserliness will be thrown in the hearts of the people, and the harj will increase." They asked, "What is the harj?" He replied, "It is killing, murdering, it is murdering, killing." Hadīth 68. Narrated Anas, I served the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, for 10 years, and he never said to me, "Uff," a minor harsh word denoting impatience, and never blamed me by saying, "Why did you do so or why didn't you do so?" Hadīth 69. Narrated Al-Aswad, I asked Aisha what did the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, used to do at home. She replied, he used to keep himself busy serving his family, and when it was time for the prayer, he would get up for prayer.